Welcome to the Mount Pleasant Podcast, featuring discussions and interviews about the people, places, and events that make Mount Pleasant such a special place.
This is the Mount Pleasant Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Cleary, and all thanks to the great people of Mount Pleasant Magazine, I get the honor and the privilege of introducing you to Mount Pleasant, the people who make it such a special place to do business, to work, and even to live. We're introducing you to Mount Pleasant's best on the Mount Pleasant Podcast. So today we're talking with a gentleman who has been elected to the Mount Pleasant Town Council. In fact, he's currently serving, but he's been elected 5 different times to that post. We say hello to Gary Santos. Gary, thanks so much for joining us here on Mount Pleasant Podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Someone might say you must love being on council. I mean, why else would you come back for 5 different times being reelected?
You know, I love my community. Being born and raised here and growing up here, it's a fantastic place to live, and I wanted to give back, and I wanted to find a way of giving back. And you know, first it started off as through recreation, coaching, and then it just kind of morphed into running for council and trying to do some things that made recreation and other things better, and so that's what really got me started was recreation.
So let's talk about your time on town council. You were first elected in 1996. What is it? I don't know if it's possible to get it down to one thing, but tell me what it is that you like, that you enjoy about being on the Mount Pleasant Town Council.
It's a host of things, really. I love being able to do good things for our citizens. I love to be able to try and help my community whenever I can. And I think the best way for me to do it is through being on town council, putting together ordinances and things that really make life a lot nicer, a lot easier, like getting the land underneath the Arthur Ravenel Bridge for a park here. I did that back in 2004 or 5, and things like that. Just building facilities that our citizens love. Our track out at Park West and some of the other things, the pool out there and all. I was involved with a lot of those kind of things, and it just trying to do good things for our citizens so that they can enjoy the community and their children can enjoy the community, a lot better than what it would be if we didn't have those things.
And let me flip it to the other side, because obviously there's some things you enjoy. I'm sure there's nothing you don't like about town council, but there's got to be a challenge or two. Can you point us in the direction of something that you maybe see as a challenge about you being on the Mount Pleasant Town Council?
I like challenges. I really do. And, you can turn challenges into really good things sometimes. You just never give up. I mean, I've brought some things, for instance, the park I was telling you about at the bridge. When I first brought that up, they thought I was crazy. They said they would never give us a park on the most historic harbor in the United States. And when I went to the charrette, I asked SCDOT if they would give it to us as a park, and he told me, write me a letter. So I did, and next thing you know, we got a beautiful park under the bridge. So I like challenges. Challenges motivate me. It just makes me want to get things done even more. And so I've got a lot of things throughout those years that I've about 22 years of being on council that I was told I couldn't do and that I ended up doing. And it really makes it beneficial for our citizens.
So let's focus a little bit, if you don't mind, because you talked about the park, and it is an amazing place, the Mount Pleasant Memorial Waterfront Park, that has hosted concerts and festivals and weddings and all kind of different events right there under the bridge. It's picturesque. And even now, I understand that there'll be even more development out there to make that park even a better place. We
got phase 3 coming up. We're going to have 2 basketball courts that we're going to put together, so it'll make one big court, and we'll be able to do pickleball there. They'll be able to do yoga and working out there. What I'd like to see is also we got a splash pad we're going to do. We'll put colored lights in there, and what I'd like to see is at nighttime or in the evening time, being able to do roller skating around there as well for the young kids and things like that. Roller hockey, just as many things that we can do as possible to serve the needs of the citizens. We're going to have a men and women's bathroom there. We're going to have a dog park there with water, so they can get some water. We're going to have workout stations that you can do before you run the bridge. In fact, we're looking at right now building a 9/11 first responders memorial there, right next to the first responders monument. That I was able to get done as well. So we got a lot of good things happening out there. But the citizens are really going to be happy when we finish phase 3. It's going to be really a great little area, more so than what it is now.
Today on Mount Pleasant Podcast, we're talking with Gary Santos. Gary, a member of the town council for the town of Mount Pleasant. I'm Brian Cleary, and Gary, much like Mount Pleasant Magazine serves the town of Mount Pleasant, you serve as well. We need to get to the hard, the important questions right now. There's no more beating around the bush. I'm sorry to ambush you like this, but Tigers or Gamecocks, which is it for you?
What's funny is my daughter graduated from Clemson. And so my money went to Clemson. My son and his buddy was the most valuable player at their football camp up at USC. So and I got a lot of buddies that graduated up there. So I'm all for South Carolina. I pull for teams in South Carolina. I want them to beat everybody. I want us to be the best that we can be, the best state, whether it's football, basketball, whatever. I pull for both of them. I really do.
I don't know. Some people listening are going to say that's just a politician's answer. Well, let's try this one. You're going to the beach. Is it the Isle of Palms, Sullivan's Island, or Folly for you?
It's Sullivan's Island and Isle of Palms. As a kid, I used to run. My mom's house is 3.7 miles to the beach, and I used to run over there, and that's where I conditioned and worked out, running in knee-deep water, running parachutes, running the hill on Sullivan's Island. When I coached football, I coached right next to the hill, and I trained and conditioned my kids over there a lot. Isle of Palms, when I was a young man, we used to hitchhike over there, and we would spend the evening down on the front beach at the Windjammer and places like that. And we would come back home. So I got this, both of them have special places in my heart. Now that we've got the bike path over the bridge over to Isle of Palms, it's a lot safer now for bikers to go. So I can ride my bike over there all the time. But I spent so much time on both of them. It's really hard to pick one. We've had such great memories on both of the islands, but Folly, I've only been to Folly a couple times. I don't want to leave paradise and then go over somewhere else. Is less than what we have over here.
Be part of the conversation surrounding Mount Pleasant. Sponsor the Mount Pleasant Podcast. Podcast marketing is the new, powerful way to brand your business and reach your customers. For more information, visit carolinapodcasts.com or call 843-345-7012.
You're listening to the Mount Pleasant Podcast.
We've got a unique perspective in terms of people in Mount Pleasant. Obviously, we know the town has grown by leaps and bounds over the past 30 years, but you are someone who's a native of Mount Pleasant. You grew up here, as you just described. So you have a different view than perhaps me. I've only been here 15 years. Take me through, if you wouldn't mind, how you see the growth of the town, because over the last 30 years, we've seen the explosion. But you were here when, people tell me, hey, you don't go to the north of the IOP connector. There's nothing up there. There's a lot there now. So how do you see the town's development? Because you've been here through all of it.
I'm what you call a binya. You're what you call a come here.
Got it.
Gala. And so, I've watched it grow tremendously and over the years. And I think we've done a really good job of growing the town, specifically whether it's our transportation element or our recreation. The schools, we have some of the best schools. Lang's #1 STEM school in the nation. Got national champions in soccer. There's everything we seem to work on fits. And people complain certainly about the traffic, and it is an issue, and we're working on the roads. But we have people moving here for a reason. We have one of the lowest crime rates in the state of South Carolina, some of the lowest taxes, some of the best recreation. We're right 5 minutes from the beach. We have saltwater marshes right on the other side of us. We have the national forest right up the street, and then we have beautiful Charleston right across from us. We're in a perfect location, and we just have so many good things that happen here that it's hard. I mean, I'd be a little bit nervous if people were leaving here, but they're not. They're coming,
Sure.
And there's a reason they're coming. They want to enjoy, the lifestyle that that I had coming up, and it's all really a good thing. We just have to find a way to get that balance, and be able to have people come, but also have balance with the people who are already here, and make sure that we have and provide a lifestyle for our citizens that is good for them, good for the community.
Is government the only answer to growth, or do individuals and, say, businesses in the community also have a say and a sense in what the town is going to eventually evolve into?
We love public-partner partnerships. We've done some things already. The memorial, or I should say the monument that we did out at our park, We had $13,000 donated by private funds to help that. I've already got $15,000 for our Memorial 9/11 Memorial. It was donated by citizens, some from the upper part of Mount Pleasant, some from the lower part. So I think we work together very, very well. I like to say the upper part and the lower part because there is no north-south. We're all one Mount Pleasant. But for the folks who live up there, they've been very, very good about contributing. They helped me get a piece of the World Trade Center. When I asked for the World Trade Center, they backed me up on it, and now we have a piece of that, and that'll be with our new memorial that we're going to build out at the park. Carolina Park's growing very well. We have a great facility out there. We just got 30 acres out there, and we're looking at trying to do some things with it. And so some of our citizens, Chris Marino's been very good, very nice, donating to our causes. Like I said, for the memorials and the monument, he's already contributed to that. So, it's a good thing that we've got citizens that get involved with us. They want to be a part of it. They don't have to serve on council in order to make a positive impact on their town. They can work with us on that. And for instance, we just paved our, put rubber around our track here at the town, and College of Charleston went in with us. And so we're sharing that with the College of Charleston. So they use it for practicing in track and field, and then we use it as well. Our citizens can use it to walk around at night and exercise as well. So partnerships have always worked for us, and I think that's what's made us very special, is that we've been able to do partnerships here with the local citizens and local businesses that really make us a special place.
And when you talk about that track, Gary, you also have got Town Hall and the new gymnasium facility there. For someone who hasn't seen the new buildings and all the changes that have been made and the upgrades made, can you describe that a little bit? Because really, Town Hall is an amazing facility right now. We
have the double gyms there that we do pickleball and basketball and a lot of stuff that's going on there. And the gym upstairs is actually for our employees. But the rubber track that we just did is beautiful. And if you haven't seen it, you ought to go out. So we're very fortunate here in Mount Pleasant because the Charleston County School District has always worked very well with us, and we certainly appreciate all they do for us. I went to them and asked them if we could use the Lucy Beckham track as well. They've agreed to let us do it over the summer and whenever the kids aren't there. So we now will have 3 tracks, rubber tracks, the one at the town, the one at Lucy Beckham, and the one at Park West. And Wando also has one. So we have 4 tracks within a couple of miles from each other, rubber tracks. So we encourage our citizens to get out and exercise, get moving, walk the rubber tracks instead of the streets or the sidewalks. The rubber is a lot easier on your knees and your joints than it is on the asphalt. So we're trying to make sure that we include everybody in on what we're trying to do. And the track is really an opportunity for us to show that what we're trying to do is we want the whole town to participate in something, a healthy sport, which is walking or running. And we're providing rubber tracks for them to be able to do it in a safe manner.
If you wouldn't mind, if I can take advantage of this one-on-one time, I run the track at Park West all the time. If you could do a little more rubber there, a little more bounce, I'm trying to get my mile time down. I think that would help. Could you work on that for me? Well, we do have that scheduled for resurfacing. So we're going to be resurfacing that shortly. So,
they told us it'd be about 10 years before we resurface it. And I think we did it in, I want to say, 87. I can't remember the exact date, but we've gotten some really good. I want to say it's about 15 years old. We got our money out of that. So we are going to resurface that. That's coming up. I look forward to that. It's a great track now, even however old it is, but I want to get that mile time down. I got to get under 8 minutes and I can feel good about myself. I'm Brian Cleary. Gary Santos is joining us on Mount Pleasant Podcast. Gary, of course, one of the people who serves on the town council. He's been there for 22 years. So, Gary, you get the opportunity, and sometimes maybe whether you like it or not, folks are going to give you their opinions. What is it that you're hearing from Mount Pleasant voters that you find is their number 1, number 2 concern in terms of what's going on with the town right now? It's all about club soccer, club lacrosse, bringing in and starting programs where, the kids that are in the club sports can have places to play. We really are in a good situation. I mean, we've got great recreational activities for kids that just want to come out and recreate and play with their buddies. And we have great, club teams that are, like I said, winning national championships. And, And for instance, this weekend, we have 200 teams coming into Mount Pleasant. That not only helps the kids that are very good athletes and all. It helps the town tremendously because we get accommodations tax, sales tax, hospitality tax from these folks who stay in our hotels, shop in the local stores and things. They come in on a Friday, they leave on Sunday, and that it's just pure revenue for the town. So that's one of the issues that we're working with. We're trying to find an opportunity to get them more fields so they can practice on. But we also want to make sure that we have programs for our kids who are not going to go to high school and college and play ball, pros and play ball, but want to be out there getting exercise, playing with their friends. We got to have balance. And that's the whole thing, is to get some balance here with these two. And so that's what I'm working on. I'm trying to get balance. We want to be able to have our kids have fun and play with their buddies, but we also want the ones who are serious that want to go on and play high school, college, even pros. I mean, Dexter Coakley and some of these guys, Travis Gervais, they've gone off and played professional sports. They started right here in Mount Pleasant. We've had some other athletes that have done the same thing. So the key is to have recreation that covers everything, from the kids who just want to get out and play and have fun to the ones who are serious that want to go on to college and go on to the pros if possible. And that's the kind of thing that I'm trying to make sure that we do, because we want to be able to satisfy all of our citizens and give all of our citizens an opportunity to be able to get out, exercise, play whatever sports. We just started flag football for the kids in the spring because it was very popular. So Marion Brown was another one that actually played against me when I played Bishop England. He played over at Wando, and he ended up going and playing for the Seattle Seahawks. So we've been able to show that we can put programs together that can allow the best of the best to be able to continue and moving on up and playing professional ball. But we also have programs that serve the kids who just want to get out there with their buddies and play and have a good time. And I've coached for 37 years, and I have had kids who couldn't run in a straight line at the beginning of the year. And next thing you know, at the end of the year, they're some of the best athletes on the team, and they go on and play high school ball. And I'm so proud of them to see how far they've come. So you never really know when a kid is going to blossom. So you got to give them that opportunity to start off with a basic program, and be able to work their way up. And if they don't want to work their way up, hey, that's all fine and good as well. They at least get to get out, get some exercise, and enjoy their quality of life.
So Gary, you mentioned that you played football. You've been a football coach. When you sit down on Sunday, who are you rooting for in the NFL?
I've got a couple of teams that I really liked. I've always been a Dallas Cowboys fan. That's where Dexter Coakley played for many years. I kind of pick the athletes. I like the athletes more so than the team sometimes. But Cowboys have always been my go-to team. When I coached, I was mostly the Cowboys. But that's who I pull for right now. But I really, when I'm watching the game and the Cowboys aren't playing, I try and look at the athletes, see who they are, see if they contribute back to the community. And a lot of them do. A lot of them have done some very good things with the community. And those are the guys I pull for, the ones that really kind of give back.
Appreciate you taking your time to enjoy a Mount Pleasant podcast. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by Gary Santos, a member for 22 years now of the Town of Mount Pleasant Council. Now, Gary, let me switch gears a little from recreation and talk about growth in the town. For example, I think one of the charms of this town is Mount Pleasant still has that small town feel. And like in Mount Pleasant Magazine, we featured, say, the Pitt Street Pharmacy and the post house down there. So for people, particularly maybe in old Mount Pleasant, who are concerned about the growth, what is it that you can say to kind of allay their fears? We're not going to become a huge city. We're still going to be able to keep some of that Mount Pleasant charm.
I'm a believer in that you either grow or you die. And people own property. So really, if it's zoned a specific way, there's really nothing you can do to stop it. If you try to stop it and then you end up getting sued, they win and they'll build it anyway. The key is just, as I said before, balance. You want to find some balance where you can make sure that you do have some growth, but that it's not overwhelming. We're getting ready to build a new road from 17 over to Rifle Range Road, which I think will eliminate some of the congestion on the road. We have the Billy Swales Parkway that we're going to be opening fairly soon, which gives us a third avenue up the streets over at Patriots Point, that intersection right there by the news station. We're going to fix that as well. there's a lot of things that we have going on that you'll see here in the near future that'll help, I think, the congestion. I think that's one of the biggest concerns is the traffic and the congestion. And so we're focusing on that, laser focused on that. We're waiting for the county to see what they're going to do with 41. That'll help us as well if we can get 41 fixed. So we do have some things in the works that I think will help out a lot. And we're almost, like I said, we're almost finished with the Billy's Whales Parkway. And then we're going to getting ready to start here soon, next, I think, month on connecting 17 over with Long Point Road right there past Grace Church. And I think that's going to give us, it's also going to give us some access to our park that we have over there so that we can start building that park and building another nice recreation facility for our residents.
So my sense of the hot issues in the town that you've touched on, growth, obviously, traffic too. The third one that seems to come up is affordable housing. Obviously, home prices, and that's a great thing, have gone up in Mount Pleasant, but also rentals. What can you tell people who are coming here or want to live in Mount Pleasant, but say they can't afford to?
We have worked before on trying to get some affordable housing. Like I worked with one of the hospitals and to see they had some land by them if they could work with us. And my idea was to be able to build some townhouses or apartments near the hospital for our first responders, for our nurses, or and people like that work in the hospitals in that area around there. So, right now, a lot of them live in Somerville and they can't live in Mount Pleasant. So if there's a wreck on 526, which, as you know, that happens a lot, they get stuck in traffic. And so now you have an employee that can't make their job at the hospital because they're stuck in traffic. So the key is to be able to build, in my opinion, to build affordable housing for people who work in jobs like that a hurricane's coming. We got somebody right there that can respond to the hospital or to wherever without having to come over the bridges. So I know we've got an area up in the northern part of town that they built some affordable housing. I think it was a good start, but we need to do more of that. We need to make sure that we can get our first responders living here and people who are urgent care people living here in Mount Pleasant, so that when there are situations, just because we have a wreck on the bridge doesn't stop people from being able to get to their jobs and being able to, participate in the town.
Even though you treat it as such, and I think all the council members do, and it takes a whole lot of your time, being on council is not a full-time position for you. You do have a real job. What do people need to know about you, Gary? What is it that is your real job?
Well, I work on the waterfront. I've been working on the waterfront now for 42 years. And so I've handled cargo ships, cruise ships, things like that. Right now, they've got me working and handling the cruise ships. So I'm doing all of the cruise ships that are calling Charleston right now. I handle them and bring them in. And I started a tendering program because the port had put a limit on how many cruise ships could come to the port. So now I have some of the smaller boutique cruise lines that'll anchor in the harbor, and we tender them into Patriots Point. Spirit Line Cruises is the boat that I use as my tender. And so we bring them in, they have their buses there, and they can go to places like Boone Hall. I always push Birds of Prey, Shem Creek, and places like that. Well, so that's what I do. I'm still working on the waterfront. Like I said, 42 years is a long time, but I thoroughly enjoy working with on the waterfront, with the people on the waterfront. And we got a great community down there. The Port Authority has really done a lot for us. I'm also president of the Port and Seafarer Society. And the Port Authority has really been very generous and given us opportunities to have facilities out on the docks that we can service these crew members who come in from third world countries that want to be able to Skype with their families and want to be able to go up to Walmart and Kmart and things like that. And so we really have a good team on that waterfront that works closely together, that really makes us a fantastic place to work.
So 42 years on the waterfront. So you started working there when you were 5-6 years old, I guess, right?
I started when I won't tell my age, but I started in 1980. And when I first started, it was fun. It was a different world back then. There was no cell phones, there were no computers,
right?
And so everything was done, by hand. And now pretty much everything's done by computers. So I've been able to see the progression of how it moved forward, and we've really come a long way. And like I said, we've got some great partners. Maritime Association of South Carolina is another great partner of ours. And we do a lot of good stuff for the community and try and help out these crew members. We have a Maritime Memorial Day that we remember people who passed away that worked on the waterfront, and so we give back a lot. We have the Waterfront Olympics we're getting ready to put on, and it's with all the teams in the port, various businesses. They put together teams, and we do stuff like tug of war races, and kind of like a Greek week like they did in college. So we do a lot of stuff to try and keep the community close. A close-knit group, and because we all work together, we're all there for the same reason, and that is to provide a great service here for our shipping industry. And people want to be able to go to Walmart, Kmart, and some of these places and shop, and we want to make sure that we get those items off of these ships and into the stores as fast as possible, so that they don't have to wait.
Gary, let me ask you one more thing about town council, and you can opine on this as long or short as you want, but there is a sense, and because of reporting and things, you guys on town council hate each other. You just want to go back outside and, take people out back and rough them up a little bit. Is it really that bad, or is there a group hug coming for town council anytime?
We can always agree to disagree and have a lunch together. I don't want a council that agrees on everything. I want people to come up with different opinions. They don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with them. The key is to look at all the options and then then come up with what's best for our citizens. So, yeah, we can disagree, but we agree to disagree, and then we move on. We've got a great council here. A lot of them have just been elected for the first time, and so they're learning a lot on how council works. But I'm the old man on council, and so they come to me sometimes and ask questions, and I give them what I think is the truth and be as honest as I can. But just like any council, you're not going to have people who always agree, and that's fine, but you got to agree to disagree and move on and go to the next topic. And that's what we do. We have some good discussions. I don't call them arguments. I call them discussions, because everybody has their feelings about how something should be done. But at the end of the day, like I said, we can all go out and have something to eat and something to drink, and we get along.
Gary Santos, our guest here on the Mount Pleasant podcast. He's been one of the forces behind a growing and an amazing town of Mount Pleasant. A lot of that you see featured in the Mount Pleasant magazine. Gary, final thing, you've been on council for 22 years. You just said you're the old man on the council. You're going to run again? Is that a decision you've made yet?
I never look that far ahead. I concentrate on the here and now. I'm working on the 9/11 memorial that we're going to be doing out there at our park. We've already raised $15,000 toward it. So I'm always finding something to work on and to better our community. But I'll wait till I get closer to that end. I just love it. I love serving the people. I love coming up with new ideas and new things that make the community a better community. And that's why I've always done it. I've always believed in giving back. My mom and dad have always given back. Taught me that giving back is what you should do, and I've always done that. And being on council is a great way of giving back, because you can affect so many people in a positive way. And I've always enjoyed that. Whether it's building recreation facilities, I've done a lot of ordinances. I wrote the ordinance that against abandoning boats, so people couldn't just leave their boats out there, like you can see over on the city of Charleston. The vendor partnership program is one that helps the local businesses that they join up with. It doesn't cost them anything to join up with the town, and they become a premier partner with the town. There's a lot of different things that I've done, and it really makes me feel good to know that I've been able to help my community, and I continue to want to do that.
And if there's a constituent, somebody in the town of Mount Pleasant who wants to get a hold of you, I guess the best way, maybe the easiest way, go to the town website and shoot you an email?
Absolutely. I think after so many years, most people got my phone number by now.
Well, we're not giving that out here, but we want to thank you for giving your time. The town of Mount Pleasant is a wonderful place to live. You see about it written about all the time in Mount Pleasant magazine. And Gary Santos, thanks for joining us on Mount Pleasant podcast, and thanks for your 22 years of service to the town.
Thank you for having me anytime. I'd love to come on anytime. You'd love to talk.
Thanks for spending your time with the Mount Pleasant podcast. Your community, your podcast. Listen to past and future episodes at mountpleasantpodcast.com.